Want to feel better about your chess blunders? Check out these top 5 just absolutely horrible Grandmaster blunders. These are really, really funny. I promise you're gonna enjoy them. This blunder came from a Bulgarian Grandmaster. So we started out this game super typical, e4 into a caro, just very normal line of the caro. This is when it starts to get a little bit weird. Knight g5 tries to attack. We have this weird kind of attempted sack, but then we have queen a5 check, bishop out. Queen moves back to b6, probably trying to attack the b2 pawn. There are a bunch of ideas here. Bishop d3, and now you'll see what white's planning. Black takes. This is a huge mistake. I want you to pause and see if you can figure out why. Alright, let's see what we got. Now there's queen check h5, which seems kind of unimportant because the king can just go to d8. This is just forced. There's no other way to block this check. But now we have the real kicker, which is bishop a5. The bishop's protected by the queen, and this is just a very classic tactic. So a Grandmaster lost his queen in a puzzle rush move that maybe a 1200 would miss. This game is from legendary Grandmaster Vladimir Kramnik versus a computer, Deep Fritz, and at the time they were trying to figure out if computers are better than Grandmasters, and this game was not a very good sample for this. So we have d4, d5, c4, d takes c4, Queen's Gambit accepted, very common opening, a kind of unusual b5, c6, and already we have a pretty strong attack from Kramnik. Knight's maneuvering, bishop takes c4, this is still a super even position, both players are playing very well, as we'd imagine, a Grandmaster versus a robot, right? Queen e2, h6, bishop moves back, bishop takes. This is all super, just everything we expect. Very strong play from both parties. This is where it starts to get interesting. Queen e2, c5. Knight fd2. It seems like Kramnik has a bit of an advantage here. This is all looking really good for the legendary Grandmaster. Queen takes a4. Again, black is still retaining their advantage. He's playing with computer-like precision here. Queen takes f7, that is honestly nothing to be afraid of, just king h8. Queen's forced to retreat. Now we have this attack, and the queen goes back to d7. So this is where it gets really, really funny. So we have takes back. Knight's gonna start to maneuver with this super obvious plan that honestly a computer would think of. Bishop back, king, bishop takes, but yeah, so one of the best chess players of all times literally hung mate in one. Look at that. Hung mate in one. So we have Carlsen versus Aronian here, and as we see, Carlsen's managed to have a tiny advantage as black, but it's still anyone's game in this endgame. A draw can definitely be held. We don't know what's gonna happen. So the king's goes to e6, getting active in the endgame. Queen c8, king e5, bishop b2. Now the king's able to move, and this is where we have some pretty interesting things happening. The beautiful move, queen b7, just hanging our queen, just like that. Truly a gorgeous Grandmaster move, so now you don't really have to feel bad if you do that in a blitz game, because even Grandmasters hang queens. It's only fair to do one where Magnus is on the other side of the equation, and this shows that anyone can beat the world champ, right? Right? So we have this endgame, and Magnus is known for really just squeezing out these endgames that are even and making a win, so let's see what he can do. So we have a bunch of pawn bushes. This all is a lot of just super Grandmaster moves, I'm not gonna lie. But rook b8, so now we're trying to promote, we're pushing the b-pawn, it makes a lot of sense. So we're giving up the b-pawn now to try to get the e-pawn, and then with tempo we can even get the h-pawn. King's going in to defend the h-pawn, king to h3, rook back to b2, rook to b2, and now we have the rook coming in into the defended f5 square. And again, these are all really strong moves, Grandmaster moves, of course. And this was before Magnus Carlsen was even 2700, and this is a blitz game, but he was still very strong here, so it's important to keep that in mind. The king is moving downwards, supporting the pawns, and this is where it starts to get a little bit loopy. So we have the king moving down, rook takes. This looks like it should, honestly. Well, it should be a draw with best play, but with these two passed pawns, white's position's very dangerous. King takes, And Magnus goes e5, effectively hanging mate in 1. Rook c1, isn't that insane? And here we have a game from Michael Krasenko. I'm sorry for my pronunciation, but another Grandmaster, professional, very, very strong player. Alright. So right now we can see he's absolutely dominating the board here, has an extra bishop. The material is definitely in his favor here. And white queen takes, this is an error because now the b-pawn can just move up and a promotion is threatened. There's just a lot of risks here for white. This should be a totally one game. Queen threatens the bishop, queen defends. Like, there's no way white does not want a queen trade here. This is kind of insane. So no matter what, we honestly have just so many threats here. Like, if the queen takes, it would have been mate. Just absolutely insane. Queen f2, check. Moving back, and then the beautiful move, queen f3, and I guess we can't truly spot any attacks on the diagonals. I messed that up a lot, but who would have thought the Grandmasters messed that up too? And we just hung a queen from the rest of this game. As you can tell, it's kind of lost. So very, very unfortunate.